Before we delve into today's story, I wanted to thank the folks who have been very supportive in their response on the video where I announced that the merch store was being closed down because of just behind the scenes disagreements and creative differences. I was just becoming stressful and not worth it. And I figured this was just weight on my shoulders that I don't need right now. I want to manage my time better, so I prioritize the things that matter. So I'm doing a clearance where everything's 50% off if you go to yongya.com and type the code YONGOUT at checkout. 50% off if you're interested, but it's all pretty much almost sold out. We're in the double digits for almost everything. And yeah, if you really want the merch, have been interested in it, it's limited. It's quite limited. So just putting that out there, and I just wanted to thank people for lifting my spirits in what was kind of a sad, but ultimately best for the future kind of situation. All right, so that out of the way. Diablo Immortal. The deeper you delve into this rabbit hole, the uglier everything just becomes. So the user score is at a 0.3 now. It was at a 0.2. It was at 1 point the worst user rated game of all time on Metacritic. Now it's tied with Madden NFL 21, and I guess if you go past more decimal places, technically Diablo Immortal is, I guess, second place to Madden NFL 21 at this point. This is still not a high bar to rise above. This is still pretty embarrassing and humiliating, especially considering how many Blizzard titles have ended up near the bottom of the list. Warcraft 3 Reforged is third place with a 0.6. There's that Warcraft Classic expansion, World of Warcraft Classic expansion, that thing has a score of like 0.6. It was at 0.4 before, and I think people like artificially inflated it a little bit to try to get Diablo Immortal down. Like, people are just like not happy with this game for good reason. The monetization system is awful. I've talked about all of that stuff, but the loot boxes, especially the Elder Rifts, which are loot box dungeons activated by legendary crests, which you have to buy with real money pretty much. They're the ones that yield the legendary gems that are the endgame gear, essentially the endgame grind. And these legendary gems can be 1 to 5 stars. You want to get those 5 out of 5 star gems, which are a 1 in 2,000 chance. And then even if you manage to get one of those, you have to rank them up to like rank 10 by getting duplicates and also breaking down other legendary gems. And also you can fill out 6 slots for legendary gems. So it's just a lot of loot box spinning. And then once you get it to rank 10, you can awaken your gear, which is just an extra fee. You have to just like spend premium currency. There's no gameplay way to just upgrade that. Then there's the resonance stuff where you have to essentially slot in more legendary gems, ranked up legendary gems, which is additional rolling of the loot boxes and more spending. It is actually freaking ridiculous. Even by free-to-play standards, is some of the most ludicrous stuff I've seen. That's on top of the various hidden caps for free-to-play players that Blizzard didn't make anyone aware of, that limits the rewards you can get per day. And on top of that, people discovered that there's actually not 2 but 3 loot box types. There's rare, legendary, and then eternal legendary. The eternal legendary you basically have to purchase through the store, and they're the only way to get legendary gems that you can trade on the marketplace, on the auction house. The other stuff that you get, the regular legendary gems, you can't sell or trade or whatever, so their value diminishes, and free-to-play players have no access to tradable legendary gems to engage in the marketplace, to at least try to, game the market in some way where they can like get some stuff that they want. It's awful. It is terrible. It is disgusting. And yeah, Blizzard is facing the consequences of their egregious greed. And now we're seeing sort of the real-world result of this terrible, terrible system. This is a report from news outlet Game Rant, whose headline reads, and yeah, this is not a joke, Diablo Immortal Twitch streamer spent $25,000 or New Zealand dollars to get first 5-star legendary gem, then deletes character. Now, for those wondering, oh my god, this streamer is so stupid, why would he do that? He was basically like trying to show this system. He was trying to prove just how ludicrous the system was, and I guess the streamer has enough money to just be able to shell out that much money on a video game just to show people what an asinine system, what an asinine greedy monetization scheme this all is. And you can see a tweet right here from Quinn that highlights this. I can't believe I just looted my first 5 out of 5-star gem, the ones that you want, the endgame gear grind that you're seeking, and it only cost me 25,165.57 New Zealand dollars. Thanks, Blizzard and Diablo Immortal, for this authentic Diablo experience. That's how this game was advertised. Yes, it's mobile, but if you play it, it's a true Diablo experience. And that might be true on sort of the mechanical level, on a gameplay level, and the campaign and stuff. But endgame is a huge part of the true Diablo experience, and it's pretty much completely paywalled to only folks who can afford to spend tens to hundreds of thousands of dollars for viable progression and endgame gear grind. For everyone else, it's just literally impossible. The amount of time you'd have to spend, decades really, to get up to snuff, to get up to par to people who rush their way through progression. And rush their way through progression by paying is even an overstatement, given just how much money you have to pay. It's either you have to spend decades on this game, or you have to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on this game for progression viability. It's actually freaking ridiculous. And Quinn put it in even better perspective. If you want it in US dollars, for reference, 25,165.57 New Zealand dollars is currently equal to $15,870.66, almost $16,000 for a single one 5-star legendary gem. Guess what? 5 more to go, says Asmongold here, because you can slot in 6 5-star legendary gems, or just 6 legendary gems in general with your gear. And then beyond that, if you want to rank up those 5-star legendary gems, you have to get duplicates of those gems. So the almost $16,000 here for just one 5-star or 5 out of 5-star legendary gem, you'd have to spend that over and over again so you can get 6 different legendary gems to slot in, and then continuously spend roughly that amount of money with those ridiculously low odds to rank up those gems by getting the duplicates for those gems. And on top of that, break down all these other legendary gems and like just go through this incredibly just complicated and layered monetization system that just squeezes players dry on a level that is, even by, shitty AAA standards, just kind of unprecedented. And then again, on top of that, the fees involving awakening items, and then all the resident stuff, more spinning of the loot boxes, more expenditures in the thousands to tens of thousands for those gems. How shameless can one company be? How far can they push the low bar of shamelessness that we've already seen in the past couple of years? And with Quinn here, he was so just utterly flabbergasted that this is a real video game and that this monetization is real, that the decision, the executive decision, if you will, was to just delete the character and uninstall the game live on Twitch, now that he has made his point with the ridiculous expenditure for just a single 5-star gem. Here's that clip.
Blizzard.
So yeah, he's not happy. Character deleted. And he proceeds to just
fuck this dog shit game.
Uninstall the game.
This dog shit game. That trash. Seriously. Everyone should quit. Delete your accounts. Quit this dog shit game. This trash. Let's get the fuck out of here, boys. Get the fuck out of here. I ain't got time for that shit, man.
Can't say many people would disagree with those sentiments.
What way is she playing, though? Seriously. What way is she playing?
And there's, I believe, he's gonna, uninstall the game.
Deserve to even stay on there. Diablo 2 Resurrected, you could stay. Diablo 3, you're on thin ice. But okay, I'll allow it. Diablo Immortal, get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out. Get the fuck out. Fuck.
Yeah. But the unfortunate irony to this whole situation is that Blizzard got almost $16,000 off of this one single streamer who happens to have the money to spend on this stuff. And Blizzard really is targeting the whales who are too addicted for their own good or who have just money to burn, and basing the game's endgame design around that very small top 1% minority of players who engage in that way, and not making the game that everyone else, 99% of players, want this game to be. Now, there have also been reports about the amount of money that Diablo Immortal has been making, and if you check out this Video Games Chronicle report, the tweet here reads, despite criticism of its microtransactions, Diablo Immortal has reportedly already earned Blizzard more than $24 million. Now, that's certainly no chump change, but YouTuber SkillUp brought up a great point here when he retweeted this article and straight up said, Diablo 3 made $210 million compared to Diablo Immortal's $24 million in its first 24 hours. So basically, Blizzard worked for 5 years to make a Diablo game that is roughly 10% as successful as a game they released 10 years ago. Plus, they snagged the record for lowest user score on Metacritic. Good job, Blizzard. Nailed it. And dug their reputation into a deeper hole along the way. Just when we thought it was at rock bottom, turns out you can go even below that. Blizzard has proven that with the release of one of the most cynically created titles ever that I've ever seen, especially from a beloved franchise like Diablo. That's what's upsetting about this especially. Diablo has such a rich history in the realm of gaming. This is a very special game for so many gamers and folks who are gaming enthusiasts, and this is the way they spit in the face of players, customers, and fans just out of sheer greed, out of sheer necessity to nickel and dime players. And nickel and dime is such an understatement here. To $100 bill players, essentially, $1,000 bills if those existed. No one can make the argument of, well, Diablo Immortal is free to play and it's going to be monetized for the long term, whereas Diablo 3 is less monetized and it's more about that initial spike of sales. But when somebody tried to argue that, SkillUp aptly pointed out, after the day one sales of 3.5 million units for Diablo 3 that made them hundreds of millions of dollars compared to Diablo Immortal's 24 million, Diablo 3 went in to sell 30 million units thereafter. If a game's just good, people keep coming and buying this game. And you can retain good sentiments, loyalty, and you can actually start rebuilding your reputation, all while releasing a game that is extremely financially successful. This is Diablo. It was going to succeed if you had released it as a more traditional kind of monetized game, or at the very least, if you have gone easier on the monetization. But, at what cost, Blizzard? Was this worth it for you? I mean, I guess we'll find out in the long term. The unfortunate thing is that with these mobile games, there are people who will spend money on this stuff and who don't follow the gaming news, who aren't gaming enthusiasts, and who just kind of fall for this trap and engage in this vicious cycle of spending. And some folks can afford it. Others are just addicted and cannot afford it. And this is just gambling. It's pay to win gambling. It's the worst kind of monetization in existence. And Diablo Immortal embraces it, doubles, triples down on it on such an awful level that it really does boggle the mind, and just really trying to make sense of this just layered monetization system that just gets worse and worse the more you look into it. It like gives one a headache. But yeah, this just feels like such a waste, because at the core of it all, Diablo Immortal is a good game on a mechanical level in terms of the campaign. Like, it plays like Diablo, and on mobile devices, it runs well. It feels smooth to play. This could have been a celebrated Diablo entry that is instead being mocked and just completely being derided, and people, especially Diablo fans, are so disillusioned by the potential that was lost here. Blizzard could have made a ton of money through this game, elevated their reputation a little bit, and just shipped a good game. This could have been a win-win-win scenario, but corporate greed, ladies and gentlemen. This is what corporate greed looks like at its essence. That's not going to stop companies from continuing to try to make the attempt of taking that step over the line, 2 steps forward, 1 step backward, pushing the envelope, pushing the goalpost as far as they can until what was egregious before suddenly becomes normal, and then they can push for more egregious monetization schemes. It's a cycle that will continue as long as people continue to spend money on this stuff. So Diablo Immortal just getting dragged through the mud and getting humiliated with a 0.3, 0.2 score on Metacritic is like the least it deserves at this point. I'm not one to encourage review bombing, but Diablo Immortal is just genuinely sickening in how it carries itself and how it treats customers and how it preys on just people with these addictive tendencies or people with money that could better be spent elsewhere. Diablo Immortal is the absolute wrong title for this. Lose that T. This is Diablo Immoral, as far as I'm concerned. Or at the very least, that's one man's take. Let me know in the comments below what your thoughts and opinions are on the latest surrounding Diablo Immortal and just the general backlash surrounding it, what your experience has been like with it. And to be further updated on all things gaming news, reviews, and discussions, stay tuned right here on Yong Yeah. I'll see you guys next time. Yong out.